channel, My Sawdust. I'm your host, Darius. Thank you for taking the time to click on my video. And this episode is the continuation of the ultimate workbench build. So sit back and relax and watch me continue building on the workbench.
Hours later.
All right, welcome everybody to the continuation of the ultimate workbench. All right, so I'm about to start getting ready to get the casters put on.
Hercules.
So here I'm installing the 2-inch swivel caster wheels with the safety dual locking, and I will give a link to the different variations of wheels that I've used. I used 4-inch, these 2-inch, and other ones I've been going to be using. You decide which version you want.
Hercules.
So here's the final preparation that I'm doing of my spacing of where I had it. So I'm getting everything clamped down, ready to get the last positionings right. And this is where you would make the adjustments for yourself depending on how you want to incorporate what you see here to your needs. Right now I have open space to where I'm standing. In the middle will be the miter saw. Behind that is the dust collection system, the makeshift dust collection. Always using the clamp. Last time I did not do this, so the measurements were just a little bit off. Like I mentioned earlier, when I put the top on, the plywood is basically 4x8 straight, but my other layers were kind of bowing out. So here I'm making sure I correct that, and we're good to go. So here I'm making a quick dry fit of the wall. This was pre-cut last time. You see the little notch there. Just trying to get everything spaced out since I haven't worked on this right hand corner here. So I'm kind of making the adjustments to make sure there's enough support. So yeah, off camera over there, I'm making some measurements to see on my plywood top the actual spacing of the cutoff for the miter saw to see if everything does fit perfectly and I can continue on. Grab that piece. This allows me to kind of see what the spacing between the corner and the support 2x4 that has to be. This is the starting base of me knowing where the opening is for the miter saw. So here's pretty much a quick little recap of what's going on. So I got everything kind of clamped down. Some of them are screwed, some of them are not quite screwed in just yet. Don't want to keep making holes in the wood. So I made measurements to make sure that I have enough space to put my toolbox, the Dewalt ones that I have. So they're going to go on the side where the table saw is, where I'm currently pointing at right now. On the bottom, I'm actually going to be able to fit all 3 of them with the shelves I have. So yeah, they're going to be underneath the table saw. In the middle is a miter saw. That base still has to be cut up since I made the adjustments to basically be able to fit these 3 shelved little toolboxes that I have. Now I'm just making all measurements before I just drill everything in. That I do have at least at 20 inches of space to be able to fit that little tool chest in, and then hopefully the cutout from the original plywood is there, and it will be perfectly fine the way it is. So now just attach the support. These were the pocket screws to get them bolted in. Make sure everything is square, and then we're going to be pretty much ready to go on to the next step. Okay, if you guys notice, on the bottom there's the actual shelf that will be used for the table saw. I'm using that as a guide, so when I put that brace up there, it's lined up, everything will be screwed in, and it's basically being supporting the weight of the table saw. Now the final support piece. Get the clamp ready. Yeah, once everything was squared, I use the clamp to make sure it is tight, that I am getting the true 48 inches that I need. Which everything came out right. Before I can attach it, obviously I have to drill some pocket holes. To make those pocket holes on both sides of this support just makes it so much easier, and you won't have more screws being exposed on the outside. Once they're done, now it's ready to get it back in place. Make some final measurements, get it clamped in, get it leveled. You use your clamps, use your speed square, and then basically you're ready to get them screwed in. So right now I'm just making the measurement for the wall that I'm going to have to trim off, since originally this area was actually bowing out, so the bottom is more at 48 inches while the top was kind of like 48 and a half or so. So I'm making the adjustments so I can get the measurements just right and then cut them. Dry fitting the other side, and that one seems like it's a lot better. And that's the middle section. You see the cutout. That's where the screw from the jack will go in. So I'm just making last minute little measurements, verifying all the placement I have will actually work. And lucky for me, it did. So here I'm at about 27 and a half inches. And that's basically the very top. So I'm just making a measurement of the bottom layers, which is a cutout for a table saw, and that ends up being about 28 inches, 28 and a half. So that gives me 8 inch, basically like a lip. So the table top is 27 inches from that point, and then this top can actually just plop right on top, and there's the support. Nothing extra has to be done, and it should fit exactly like that. Spoiler alert, it does. I just made my first cut that I needed to shorten up basically the wall here. I used the Kreg tool. Nice clean cut. I'm happy I purchased it. Yeah, so we're ready to continue on. So this will be basically put back in its place. The other one is actually fine for the length that I need over there. And later I will cut the middle portion once I get everything kind of dialed down. That one had that slot cut for the screw mechanism in that RV jack. So obviously once I get everything kind of positioned and measured, I'll basically trim both sides just so it's still centered. Alright, so on this board I'm going to have to do some pocket holes just so it gets secured to the actual floor itself. So there's no bowing or anything like that. So I'm going to use the jig again. I have set it
This is a 1/2 inch thick board. So I got this set, and I'm just going to clamp it down and about do probably 4 screws along the length. And that's 4 pocket hole screws. Alright, so the next thing is to get those walls put up. Got the pocket holes drilled. Now it's time to install them.
So now it's just to measure the distance between the 2 walls, make the marks.
Get the placement of the printing MDF in their spots and kind of get the build scope out of where everything else is, and we'll be moving on along here. Okay, so I went in and dry fit the support frame for the table saw. It's clamped up, so it's the bottom of the framing is at 16 inches, which I believe that's what it was from the bottom. So I said to clamp down so I can actually check that out. I'm going to just start placing the plywood. Get that first there and kind of get a visual of what the tabletop will look like. So yeah, don't mind the camera work here. Alright, the dry fit is in. Let's see if the table saw actually fits. Alright, so I add a couple more clamps to secure it from not falling down. Obviously, if it falls down, we shall know, but you guys will fall down with it. Let's try it. So I just quickly bolted down this piece to get that square 48 inches this way, and then these 7 feet that way from edge to edge.
Alright, so pretty much finished everything up there. Got the tabletop on. All I have to do is add some clamps to secure it down. So we're pretty much done for today. Table saw is in its place. The only thing left will be eventually cut some grooves up here. So when I do have a sled, I can actually, slide it through there a little bit in these grooves. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for this episode. The miter saw is basically next. And hopefully you like what you see and you will subscribe to the channel, hit the like, hit the notification bell, and wait till the next episode shows up. Other than that, I will see you on the next episode. Alright, thanks guys.